All right, so Jarvis just released a video describing why he thinks he will fight KSI this year. I've got the video out in front of me. I figured we can give it a watch, and I can give my honest thoughts on what's going on here. I know he's enrolled in the Kingpin tournament, so I'm guessing the plan is if he wins, he'd probably use that leverage to try and fight KSI. It's a little bit difficult just because there's so many talented athletes out there, and you don't want to burn them. I've said this so many times before on the show. You don't want to burn them all at once by having them face each other, but you also kind of have top-ended talent pools in these promotions. So the big fights that people want to see, I feel like, get jammed up by that fact. But nonetheless, we can get into the video here because I'm interested to see what Jarvis is talking about when he references these things. Perhaps there's a deal. Nonetheless, let's get into it.
All right, guys, I just got back from London. I was at the Kingpin press conference, and I'm fighting in 1 month. All of us fighters just found out who we're going to be facing the first time. So there's been a few people chatting shit, and I have a few things to say to them. But first, let's find out who I'm fighting. So I was just praying, bro, like, Deji, please say my name.
Jarvis!
And finally, you know that moment where you hear your name, you're like, wow, thank God, it's finally time. 2 other people have been up, done their face-offs. The pressure was just building and building, and finally, it was time.
A man who has been showing his mettle in the Mayweather gym.
That is one thing everyone comes up to me now. It's like, you fought Floyd Mayweather. Like, I just wanted to get my hand in there. He like stopped me for a second. He was like, wait a second, I want to ask you some questions. I was like, bro, just let me choose my opponent. I've been sitting here for so long waiting. I just want to know.
Actually, this is something that we reviewed on stream. There is this little conspiracy theory going around that they were kind of manufacturing these, I guess, raffles. Obviously, so we get the fights that the fans want to see. So then there was Austin McBroom versus Gib 2. That's the biggest, most high-profile match that possibly could even happen in this entire tournament. And then if Jarvis is going to go up against Deji, which it looks like it's going to happen now, that would make sense that they maybe stop him for a second. I'm not saying that foul play was involved, but realistically, you kind of want to see, and if you're Kingpin, you want to make the matchups that people want to see anyway. So it would make sense if they had a little bit of a hand in saying, hey, pause for a second, let us figure it out, and then, I wouldn't even be surprised if they had the preordained selections ready for at least, again, the higher level athletes or the higher level influencers, just so that they could get them out of the way. And then maybe for the lower level people, it's all set up and done.
It's going to be harder to train for him because I don't know who it is, so I hope I get Tom Zanetti, really.
Oh, okay. Well,
look at the smile on his face, bro.
Squeeze it open. Tell us who you got.
Kind of struggled a little bit opening the ball. It wasn't, it was a little harder than I thought.
Oh! We're watching. We're watching. Oh my!
There we go, bro. It's like at that moment when I read his name, I had a sigh of relief. I was like, finally, I know who I'm fighting. I don't have a mystery opponent. So there you guys have it. It is Tom Zanetti. That is the first opponent that I'm going to be facing in the 8-man tournament. I've seen his last fight. He doesn't give up. He's got the heart. And if you guys didn't know, Tom had a war with Slim. I'm going to talk about him later on. And we got to do a little face-off here.
Yeah, Tom Zanetti went to absolute war with Slim, took his best shots, and hung in there in what a lot of people thought was a close fight. That's why I say it's really good that Kingpin has kind of been able to get in some of these guys. They're a little bit more mid-level, but could potentially challenge some of the upper echelon types of influencers. Just so everything keeps interesting, there's a lot of parity, and fights are made to be compelling.
I sparred it.
Well, you're putting me against him. Yeah. You might want to do a bit of research. You're really impressed in that spar that was shown online. So, do you think you're going to get to show those skills now against this man?
100%, yeah. I'm ready. I'm just ready to fight. I just want to get in there.
How much of a challenge is this for the very first round?
It's a challenge, but everyone is a challenge in this tournament. I'm ready for anyone. Been preparing, so it doesn't matter who's in front of me.
Looking at you now, bro, I honestly feel like a bit sorry for you, bro. I'm not being funny.
Bro, you'll see. You'll see what happens April 22nd.
So that's another really good point to bring up is Jarvis has, there is footage out there of Jarvis sparring with Floyd Mayweather. If he continues to do so, that's a great guy to kind of pull from and to work with to elevate your own game. I mean, it's true that Jarvis does train and spar at Mayweather's gym, so that's a big tool in his camp in the lead up to this fight.
No offense
Tom, I got Jarvis winning that one.
My guy, Deji. Come on, yo. Shout out Deji. He is the man, honestly. All right, guys. I've just been watching the video back, and I can't believe I forgot to mention Deji's brother, KSI. So after I sparred Mayweather, it was obviously a massive thing, and KSI tweeted, after seeing that Mayweather spar, Deji would destroy Jarvis. You know, I love Deji, and I've been supporting him through his whole journey. I get, you know, KSI, that's your brother. You're obviously going to be a little more biased. But if it really came down to it, you know, me and Deji getting in the ring, I think KSI would be a lot more surprised at the outcome. Obviously, had to troll KSI a little bit, give him some shots back. Jake's better. And what's actually crazy is KSI has tweeted this saying, I'll happily fight the tournament winner. He also gave his resume of like his fights for the rest of the year and fighting the winner of the Kingpin tournament.
See, I didn't even catch this tweet before I came on air here. So May 13th, as we know, KSI fighting at Misfits 007. He hasn't released who he'll be fighting. He just said that he knows he will be fighting someone on that night. It's kind of a conspiratorial thing. That's the reason I wanted to make this video. Then he asserts on August 26th, Misfits 10, he will fight the winner of the Kingpin tournament, leading me to believe that Mams Taylor and the people running Kingpin probably have it in with each other. It makes sense that they'd want to do some sort of a promotional crossover. I think it's good for the scene, and it's good for all athletes involved if these guys do work for each other, but also there is that kind of sense of competition in the water. And then finally fight either Tommy Fury or Jake Paul December 16th at Misfits 13. I highly doubt that Jake would just go over to KSI's and Mams Taylor's promotion like that. But again, what's stopping Showtime or ESPN from doing some sort of a crossover? I do think that's where all of this is leading, right? That's what KSI, he's kind of building up his resume now to make it a viable option for Jake to pay attention to him and to fight him. Seems like Tommy Fury is also another possible option. He's now ranked by the WBC, which could give KSI a lot of credibility, especially if he beats Tommy Fury handily, which I don't really see him doing so. And then after it's all said and done, he retires, goes back to music, and he says it sounds like a good plan to me. That does seem like a good plan. It seems like he's got everything mapped out. It seems like what this is asserting is that Jarvis's plan is to win the tournament, which is shared by the way, everyone else that's been fighting in this tournament. So it could literally be anyone. It could be Gibb that's fighting KSI. That's a really good one to make. It could be McBroom that's fighting KSI. That's another fight that I really want to see. Could potentially be Jarvis, Tom Zanetti, any of these guys, right? And it makes sense that there are some crossover athletes from Misfits. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if this was manufactured from the start to bring more publicity and eyes to both Misfits and Kingpin. I know there's a rumored tag team boxing match going on, which is insane, with him, Floyd Mayweather, Saul Poppy, and Pacquiao. I mean, that's something out of just a comic book. But without further ado, I've been your boy, of course, the combat consultant, the soundboard god, Jacob Koopman. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.